right, welcome to Screen Time with today's Communiqué. I am so honored to have Ms. Donna Anderson here to chat with us for a brief minute today about breast cancer. As we know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we also know that women of color are more likely to suffer more of the side effects from breast cancer and also are more likely to succumb to the disease of breast cancer. So we want to talk about what things that we can do to be more aware about breast cancer. And so thank you, Ms. Anderson, for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's just jump right into our conversation. Like I said, we're talking about all things breast cancer today. And for full disclosure, I want to let everyone know out there that Donna and I are related. We are first cousins. Her mother and my mother are sisters. And so let's jump into our conversation. So, Donna, tell us a little bit about your breast cancer journey. Number one, tell us how old you were when you were diagnosed, and then what was it that led up to that diagnosis? Was it a routine mammogram? Did you feel a lump? What was it that led to your eventual diagnosis?
Well, I was 28 and I was at home sitting in my recliner watching TV, and I always heard that cancer didn't hurt, but I felt a pain in my breast. So when I felt it, then I said, that felt like a knot there. So then I think I called my sister and asked her to come over and feel too. And she said, yeah, something there. So I think I went to my gynecologist at that time. And he had a nurse practitioner there said, oh, don't worry about it. It's just common what you have, nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But needless to say, it turned out to be cancer. So I went on and got, I guess not a second opinion, but I went on to the next step and went to a general surgeon to, I guess it was a second opinion to have him to see what it was.
So do you
And
think that
cancer.
the nurse told you that it was nothing to be worried about because
Right,
of your age, because you were so
right,
young, 28 years old? A lot of times you don't think of women that young getting
right,
breast cancer, although it's more known these days for women that young to get breast cancer. And so I'm glad that you took it upon yourself to go and get that second opinion.
right,
Um, because a lot of times we think that the doctors know what's best for us, even though we feel something is not right. We think that the
right.
doctors
They can
are the
say, right.
expert. Yeah. So
Know your body.
know your body for sure.
Right,
Know your body for
right,
sure. And so I think that will probably be the take home message, is to know your body. And
right.
so when you went to the doctor and they said, yes, it is breast cancer, what was the method of treatment that they prescribed for you?
Well, they prescribed me to have my left breast removed, and after that, chemotherapy and possible radiation. So
Okay.
I had that done and had the chemo, and then I didn't have to have radiation wasn't necessary. Well, it was necessary, but the side effects outweighed the
Okay.
having it done. Right.
Okay. And so talk a little bit about number one, I guess the thought of even having cancer. A lot of times when people hear the big C, um,
Right.
you
Right.
you get scared, and so
Yeah, I mean, it was devastated, right? To hear that word you have cancer. You know, I have two little boys at home, so I wasn't ready to go, and I was very determined to be here for my boys. So it was just like once I stopped crying and I prayed about it,
Mhm.
and here I am, 31 years later almost.
31 years later, absolutely. So it speaks to the mind having the will to
Right,
be strong and to press through, knowing that what the road ahead is going to look like. But like you said, having two young boys at the house, that you
right,
take care of them and see
right.
about them. So um, let's talk a little bit about family support. We know that when we face any issue, sickness, otherwise, it's important to have family there to support you. And so, talk a little bit about how family was there for you and help you get through that process.
Yeah, my family was great. Everybody chipped in and did their part. Just my sister, my husband, my mom, my cousins. Everybody was there. It was just that big family support I had was great.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of times we know that that can make the difference. Number one,
Yes,
mindset, and then number two, having that support
right,
system there.
right.
Um, how did you, you said you had two young boys at the house and that needed you, and you needed them. So did you have were they old enough to understand that mom is sick right now and having to talk a little bit about that?
Well, no, because I believe Quincy was 9, maybe 8 or 9, and my younger was 4 or 5. So they really didn't know about, you know, cancer because they was too young.
Okay,
But they
okay,
knew I was sick, but
okay,
they didn't know, much about it. They were just young boys.
okay, okay, okay,
Hmm.
good deal. And so, does we know that oftentimes breast cancer runs in families? And
Right.
so we know that there's a genetic component to it. And so talk a little bit about the genetic component in our family.
Well, it's kind of strange because you think my mom would have had it first.
Right.
Then, me being the oldest, then maybe come going, but it was strange. I had it first. And my sister got breast cancer. Then my mom got it last.
Right.
So it's a test you can take out there to determine it's a genetic factor in women. I just can't think the name of it right now.
And so how you were 28 when you were diagnosed.
Right.
How old was your mom and how old was your sister when she was diagnosed?
Oh, that's a hard question. 'Cause my sister was older than I was. Maybe she was in her 40, maybe.
Okay.
And mom was a lot older. Mom might be in her 60s,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
but they was a whole lot older than I was. I
Okay.
was the youngest of 28. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yes. And your mom, my aunt, is a survivor. You are a survivor.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, my mother went through breast cancer earlier no, last year.
Last year.
And so she's a survivor as well. So we
Right.
thank God for that for sure. We thank God for healing. And
Right.
so knowing that you went through the journey of breast cancer, what was it like knowing that, okay, now my sister has breast cancer, now my mother has breast cancer? What was it like being a support system for them when they were a support system for you when you were younger, helping them through that journey and that process?
Well, I think it was easy to be there for them because I knew what I went through, so it's easy to help them to get through their part.
Okay.
My When my sister got breast cancer, she opted out to have a double mastectomy.
Okay.
And so did my mom,
Okay.
I believe. Yes, because it was just kind of like the fact that your cancer come back later.
Right, right, right.
So we are at the age like, okay,
Yeah.
this is it's not cosmetic.
Right.
We
And
knew.
for people out there who may not know what a mastectomy is when you have your breast removed.
Right.
So,
And they
so
chose to use double mastectomy. And I
okay,
wish I had known what I knew now, I would have had it myself.
okay,
It was just
okay,
easier to go through that, go through that 4 years later again.
right. And
Hmm.
so when you talk about having the um the mastectomy, what was that process like? Having the procedure done and then the recovery process. Was there a physical toll, a mental toll? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, the physical toll wasn't bad, but the mental toll was because you lost a part of your body. I felt less I didn't feel like a woman for a long time. It was kind of hard to deal with that. So, and sometimes I still deal. I deal with that. Not won't look a certain way I wear a certain type of dress or something I can't wear.
Right,
So
right.
still, it took a toll mentally on me, but physically it was okay because
Okay.
it had what they call prosthesis that you just put on and no one knew.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, okay. And so when you went through the process, did you go through the hair loss that comes along with the treatment and that type of thing? So,
Yes, I didn't go completely bald, but my hair came out in spots. I had enough hair to kind of like hide it a
okay,
little bit. So it didn't I didn't go completely bald, but I did lose a lot of hair. Got real thin.
okay,
Yes.
okay. And a part of that process is the treatment. How did it make you feel? The hair loss is one thing, but going through the treatment and recovering from the treatment, talk a little bit about that particular journey,
Oh,
particularly
they
those of
treated me.
us who don't know anything about what that's like.
I mean, chemo was, I would call it the devil. That was hard. You go to the doctor office and then you sit down there and then you get sick before you even get a treatment. The smell was awful.
Yeah.
And for them to, why should I come in here for you to give me drugs to make me sick? It was a hard process. I had it done on Thursday, and it literally took me out for 2 days before I came back around like on Sunday.
Okay.
And I couldn't work full time, worked only half a day. I just was too weak to do anything else. But
Yeah.
it took a toll on me.
Yeah.
It was kind of harsh.
And speaking of toll, you went through the hair loss, you went through the chemo, and then getting on the other side of that, was there any particular special diet that the doctor said, okay, let's look at how you're eating? And so, what was that like?
Well, there was a diet out there, but you know me, I didn't follow that diet, so I gained a whole lot of weight. I mean, I got big up there, and so I don't know if I didn't care no more or what it was, but I didn't follow the diet.
Okay. And so, what was the turning point? Because now you run marathons, you bike, hours at a time. What was that turning point? What was it?
Well, actually, I want to say the turning point really was, I mean, I lost weight before
Mhm.
a while back, and I got downsized, but I think the turning point here lately was when my sister passed away.
Okay.
I kind of lost myself, then I found myself.
Mm,
Then I wanted to be a better me.
yeah.
So I kind of reinvented. I started taking care of myself, started doing more,
Yeah.
started cycling. So that's
Okay.
what I got lost for in a moment, and then
Gotcha.
I just had to find myself again.
And a lot of times people say being engaged in physical activity, whether it's walking,
Hmm.
running, cycling,
Right.
not only has a
It's
physical
a
benefit,
stress
it,
relief.
yes, stress reduction.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
makes me, with this virus, this corona going on now, just if I didn't have my bike to get out there and riding, I just probably go crazy.
so
Yes.
so you're running marathons. You are cycling. What? How many miles do you cycle every day?
Well, not on a weekly average, actually 160 miles a week, but
Per
I have ridden up to 100 miles a day, one 3 times this year. So
Wow, that is a feat to itself for sure. 100 miles. A lot of people can't say that they've cycled 100 miles per week, let alone one day. So
mm-hmm.
that is to be commendable.
No, thank
So,
you, man.
what advice would you give someone who may be newly diagnosed with breast cancer or is going through the process of chemo or radiation and or has had the mastectomy and lost their hair and that type of thing? What kind of advice would you give them, seeing as how you're on the other side of it?
I would just say, believe in believe in the Lord God above. He will. He won't bring you through anything to leave you there. Just keep your faith, keep your family, and look at me. 31 years later, I'm still here. And praise God for that. So
Right?
it's not a I can't think of the word I want to say it. It's not the end. It's
Not,
the beginning.
it's not the end, it's the beginning.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's powerful. That's good stuff. And then one
So
final question.
just keep
Um,
just keep your faith and
yeah.
you'll be okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, what advice or words of encouragement would you give to family members who are out there who have to support a loved one who is newly diagnosed or someone who's going through that journey?
I would say patience.
Patience. Okay.
Just be there and just be there for them and just have patience for whatever they want to do. They want to talk, they want to cry. Just be there.
Just be there. Just,
Yeah.
so, one final question. So, what is next on the horizon for Donna Anderson, the breast cancer survivor, the marathon runner, the cyclist? What's next?
Well, I would love to do a track athlon, but the swimming is a no-go in the open water,
Yeah,
which I can't swim. And plus, I'm not able to run anymore, so because of my bad knees and my arthritis. So I don't know what's next for me.
so maybe do some swimming lessons.
I tried that.
I used to be a lifeguard. Maybe I can give you some lessons.
Oh my goodness, right. Okay. Okay. I love that. Once this virus over, we can get back in the water.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think the parting message is, from your perspective, is know your body.
I had a T-shirt on that I wear every year. This is to feel your boobies. Just do
Feel
your
your,
self-examination. Right. Just do your self-examination. You feel anything there, just go check it out.
yes, feel your
Key
booty.
words, know your body, know what's inside you.
Absolutely. And be your own advocate, just like
Right.
you did for yourself. Yes.
Right.
All right. Well,
Right.
I thank you so much, Miss Anderson, for taking some
Well,
time.
thank you, Miss Kenya.
And that's going to be a wrap for today.
All right. Thank you.